moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
He played with Bobby Mack, literally had a nervous breakdown the entire round, and by the time they got to the fourth hole, he was losing by a stroke. It was, you think Tommy Fleetwood's a train wreck. You should have seen what this poor guy went through yesterday playing with him.
Yeah, you know what I want to say in this too? Like, the winner gets the entire pot of earnings.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Paige Beckers. She does it night in, night out. She's been absolutely fantastic for a Dallas Wings team that really isn't going anywhere. We'll see what happens in regards to where they're going to end up in the WNBA draft, because obviously, if they win it, they're probably looking at our buddy, AZ Fudd, to be drafted next year.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like...
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day here on the grid on a terrific Tuesday. Scott Wetzel, Gabriel Morency for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, and of course, betting on the world of sports. Football last night for the most part. Baseball tonight takes center stage. A lot of great series, actually. If you're a baseball fan, this is the time of the year, no doubt about it. WNBA closes out its regular season over the next couple of days. We'll get into that. We got, 4 or 5 games tonight, some halfway decent games. Not a lot riding on it, but still something to bet on, that is for sure. Partner in crime for the next 2, Mr. Morency. What's going on, Gabe? How are you tonight?
We're doing all right, Scott. I'm still buzzing from last night's game and Sunday night's NFL football games, but Tuesday and Wednesday, the non-football days, at least for the next month and a half or so, until we start getting college football on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But like you said, some critical baseball games and series is going on right now. The American League East is really, really tightened up. Aaron Judge has already gone deep tonight. The Blue Jays are losing early to the Houston Astros. And Dodgers-Yankees. We're going to have some plays on the Dodgers and Yankee game. And Rockies game a little bit later on. And like I said, Yankees are gaining ground on the Blue Jays. Blue Jays just 9-9 in their last 18 games, Scott. You and I always talk about it. All it takes is a cold week, a hot couple of weeks, and the script can really flip when it comes to Major League Baseball standings.
Yeah, really, it's interesting. The AL game, I look at it, and you have division races, right? You have the Yankees, the Red Sox trying to catch the Blue Jays of the AL East pretty close. Out in the West, you got the Texas Rangers, Seattle Mariners trying to catch the Houston Astros. Central's all but doing up. But basically, it's the division races in the AL. Then in the NL, it's the wild card races, right? Philly's winning again against the Mets. We'll break it all down. They got an 8-game lead. They're going to win the East. Milwaukee, we know, is going to win the Central. Dodgers and Padres, pretty interesting for that division race. But it does seem like one league has got division races, other league has the wild card races. So that's why baseball, whether you like it or not, and I don't like it. I think there's too many teams in the postseason, but baseball is accomplishing what it wants, and that's having 10 to 15 teams in September playing meaningful baseball versus having only a couple of wild card teams and really only like 3 or 4 teams making a postseason and having baseball over for the most part for the fan bases. So got a lot to get to over the next 2 hours here. Where are you pitching your fork? Give me a couple of your best bets for tonight to start off with.
Well, you know what? The San Francisco Giants, a team that you talked and I talked a lot about over the last couple of weeks, they've cut the lead to 3 right now. They're in this thing. There's enough racetrack left for the San Francisco Giants to still make a run. We're talking about a baseball team that's 12-3 in their last 15 games, Scott. They got Robbie Ray on the hill here tonight. They've beaten the D-backs the last 3 times that they played them. So I'm looking forward. I've got my eye on the National League West tonight. The Dodgers, Rockies, and specifically the San Francisco Giant game tonight. And as you brought up, too, the Texas Rangers knocking on the door, a very streaky team this year. They're back in the mix right now, and I'm intrigued by that game as well against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, it's basically baseball. If you can play 500 into September, you're going to be in it with all the wild card teams. It's bottom line. That's it. So,
and in fact, this game's going off the board now, Scott. This one's in 8:05 start for this baseball game.
Yeah,
I'm going to play it actually.
Yeah, at Pick'em, basically, a lot of respect for Milwaukee, right on the road, playing for basically nothing at this point. And the Rangers playing for everything. I'm surprised at that line a little bit.
Well, Al Leiter is, of course, his son. His son is a pitcher, and he was a phenom in college, but it took him a little while to get adjusted to major league hitters. But he's been on a run right now, Scott. His last 6 starts, 2.79 ERA. He's a pitcher that pitches much better at home as well. At Globe Field Park, 6-2 this year with a 3.08 earned run average. And how about this, guys? Patrick on the hill here tonight for the Milwaukee Brewers. They've lost his last 8 starts, Scott. And the Brewers don't lose a lot. So it's pretty interesting that it's like, wow, they've lost it's like they lose every time he pitches. He started 21 times this year. They've lost 15 of them. 6-15 on the season and 21 starts. 8 consecutive losses for the Milwaukee Brewers when Patrick is on the hill here tonight. Give me the Texas Rangers, who are battling back and one of the streakiest teams in baseball right now. I think the Rangers look to end strong. As you stated, Milwaukee, not in the same situation that Texas is in. I like the Rangers tonight.
He's the antithesis of Quinn Priester, right? They've won, 16 straight of his starts, 16, 17 now, right? And they can't win until Patrick starts. And his ERA game is only 3.60. It's not like
he's not pitching
an ERA
terrible.
of 6 and 7. Yeah, I mean, it's just like one of those fluky things, right? So I like Texas as well. We're kind of in the same boat here tonight. I like Texas. Going to play them at Pick'em. I like the Giants as well. You get a pretty good price. Robbie Ray, on a hill, 12-3 their last 15. Only 3 back of the Mets, and the Mets are losing. Which, listen, when they start playing ball later on tonight, they're going to see the Mets losing. Just gives them just a little bit more of wow, we can now become 2 back if we end up winning this game. I like the Dodgers as well. I mean, how can't you, right? I know they've been just burning a hole in your wallet there. Even laying a run and a half, I'm going to do it tonight. They're 13-2 their last 15 games against the Rockies. Nearly all.
They got it done last night.
Yeah, even last night. Yeah,
on the run line. But we discussed the no-hitter on the way out last night. We were obviously focused on football, but Glasnow had a no-hitter going, and we looked at the odds, and it was plus 650. And Scott brought up the fact that Glasnow was already at 91 pitches. And we said, yeah, you know what, though? It could be like a team no-hitter. Like the bet isn't, the bet is total hits for the team. It isn't like who's on the hill for the other team that has a no-hitter. And they actually nearly pulled it off again, Scott. So what's this? This is twice in the last 3 games that the LA Dodgers have had a no-hitter in the 9th inning. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? And yet they're only 1-1 in those 3 games. And they had their ace, Tanner Scott. They got Glasnow went 7. They brought in Trinan for the 8th, pitched the perfect 8th. They head to the 9th, and you got your closer, so you think you're going to get that bet, right? And Scott gives up a leadoff double. Good news, bad news. Gives up a lead-up double, but they booed him. Wow! And then they actually were able to prevent them from scoring. So you cover the run and a half. So it's kind of like
did you see?
It never is over.
You should have seen Tyler Glasnow's reaction, Scott, when they finally scored, because he's losing. I mean, he's down 1-0. He's got a no-hitter. Yeah, and Mookie Betts finally came. Mookie Betts came through and drilled one and drove in a couple of runs. And you can see Glasnow in the dugout was super stoked. and then they end up covering on the run line when it was all said and done, albeit just barely. But put it this way, guys, like people, about wondering about the Dodgers. Well, clearly their pitching is fine, Scott, right now. Like I said, they've led 2 in the last 3 games, guys. Hell, they were in, so they got to 2 out in the ninth, and this time they gave it up with the first batter in the ninth. But Dodgers pitchers are starting to come together. Like a lot of these guys weren't healthy during the season, but the bullpen's got to be a concern at the back end for the Dodgers. But you could say the same thing about a lot of contenders, Scott.
Yeah, it's just been a season-long struggle for LA, and maybe you should start giving them credit in that they won the World Series. And how many times do teams repeat as World Series champs, right? It doesn't happen often anymore, in any sport for that matter. So the fact that at least they're still in first place and they're in a position to repeat if they want to, or, if they can, maybe that's a little bit of a credit versus not winning the 105 to 10 games like I thought they really would this year. But all right, so a lot to get to. Games are underway. Yanks leading by 2 now. We'll update all the scores and all the bets when we come back to Game Live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1, focusing on some baseball, a little WNBA as well. I got to play a little bit later on. I like Seattle against Golden State tonight. Although Seattle's one of the worst against the spread teams in the WNBA, and Golden State's one of the best. But Seattle needs a win to secure a playoff spot, so a little more incentive on their part. So we'll get at the WNBA here in a little bit. So baseball, though, big series, all around the board tonight, Gabe. Really. Starting Cleveland, Guardians, and Royals. Not that the one team is going to be out, but if Cleveland does finish off a sweep, they get a couple more games left in the series. But that would really kind of separate themselves. Two teams they're on the cusp. If one of these goofy teams could go like 8-1. Even 7-2, maybe. Then okay, they're right there, but just kind of hanging around 3-4 games back. But
they're 2.5 back right now.
Yeah,
Cleveland are 2.5 back.
You think all these teams are dead, and they don't. No one pulls away,
especially for a Guardian team. Like they don't really. Who do they have, right? And it's what's crazy about the Guardians is they actually keep on trading players away, and they don't get worse. It's amazing. Like it's sort of like Tampa was for a couple of years, and it catches up eventually. But Cleveland are one of those teams, Scott. I lost their team total like 2 years in a row, like 3 and 4 years, like the last couple of years. I learned my lesson finally, like last year. I'm like, I'm like, oh, there's no way this team wins 86 games, right? All the time. There's no way. Like how? They got everyone. How are they going to do this? Every year they do. Is it the division that they play in? But the fact is, the division isn't all as bad as it used to be, Scott. Right? The Detroit Tigers are good. The Kansas City Royals are all right. Like, the Cleveland Guardians are okay. It's not like a clown show division. And it's funny. I know the Minnesota Twins aren't having a good year, but they were supposed to be good, right? The Twins, the Twins are a playoff team pretty much on a yearly basis. So I've always thought, like, okay, Cleveland are just, they take advantage of playing in a bad division, but that's not really the case. We'll give them credit. I guess we could also, though, let's, before we start throwing too many flowers at the Guardians here, Scott, the American League is kind of mediocre, right? Let's call it out for what it is. Look, like, you're basically a 500 team, 73 and 71 right now, the Kansas City Royals. So put it this way, guys, the Tampa Bay Rays are one game under 500. They're 71 and 72. They're only 4.5 games back of a playoff spot right now.
Yeah, 4 in the loss column. And that's right. That's why I say with all these playoff teams, just play 500 ball. You don't have to be the greatest team in the world. Just play 500 ball, and you're going to be in it in September. And so it's not like Cleveland's good, Kansas City's good, Tampa Bay's any good, right? They're all about 5 games over 500, or 3 games over 500 or less. But that puts them right there. That's what I mean. One of these teams, whether it's Tampa Bay, Kansas City, Cleveland, if you just have just one little initial surge, one little 8-1 run, and you might be able to catch Seattle. The Mariners certainly holding up the door, for people to come on in. The way they've been playing so mediocre baseball. So Cleveland wins last night. They're at 10-2 final, and they're winning again tonight 2-0. So bottom of the 8th inning. Really unbettable. Let's want to take a flyer on the Royals, I suppose, at 11-1. But with Cleveland's bullpen, even without Clase, I wouldn't do that. So Mets are down 4-0 to the Phillies. This Mets team.
I'd be concerned if I was a Met fan. Listen, Met fans wake up concerned, Scott. I don't need to tell you they're one of the most neurotic and self-fulfilling negative prophecy type of fans. Oh, something's going to go wrong, and it inevitably does with the New York Mets, but it really is. And I'm sure you'd agree with me, Scott. You and I have been talking about the San Francisco Giants. And, listen, there's pressure on the San Francisco Giant organization. They're World Series champions. Hell, they've won more than the Mets have recently, right? Like, overall, even.
Yeah.
So, like, they're a popular franchise. They haven't lived up to expectations. They haven't been able to get stars. Fans are getting frustrated with their ownership group, etc. But all the pressure's on the New York Mets. Like, San Francisco were playing with house money. People forgot about them and wrote them off, Scott. And they're not under the same media spotlight. Like the Dodgers are under a media spotlight, but, San Francisco has local media. There's not a national media. And the Mets aren't a national team, Scott, but people like to mock them nationally. You know what I'm saying? Like
well,
the
you
Mets
spend all that money.
That punchline team, exactly. They spend all the money. They've had the lead. And a late collapse would, and listen, Met fans, we have Met fans working on the show right now with us tonight, and that they're very nervous about it. And I bet you if you ask them, they'd tell you San Francisco are going to pass them because they're so negative. But listen, the Mets are losing right now. If the Giants win tonight, guys, they cut the lead to 2. And I don't like looking at schedules. We can never assume, I've been telling people this for years with baseball. You can never go, look, they're playing this team and that team. But San Francisco have shown an ability. We've seen it, Scott. They own Colorado. They do. Like you and I remember last time. It's like 14-1 or whatever. The last 15 times they played them. They play very well against Arizona. They've beaten them the last 3 times. They beat them last night. We'll see if they can keep it going. San Francisco still play Colorado again. They still play Arizona again. And they play the Dodgers. And, that's always a rivalry series that could go either way. I really believe, you and I talked about this, man, when they were like 7 back, Scott. They're still in this thing, and I still think San Francisco can make the playoffs.
Yeah, we were waiting for FanDuel to finally put them into the make the playoff thing and be able to put that bet in. They finally did, and of course, you still get a pretty good price just to make the playoffs, obviously. Plus 820 on San Francisco. The Mets have 3 against the Phillies, including tonight.
Those are great odds, Scott.
Spectacular game.
They weren't that much different, Scott, when I brought it up. Off the top of my head, and I could be wrong, but I swear, because I remember I found the odds when you and I were talking about it that night. I think it was like 700 then. It was like the same thing. Yeah. It wasn't like some crazy plus, we got to get this at 22-1 or something. I remember I was like plus 750 or something. It was a realistic number. I'm amazed that we can get over plus 800 right now for a team that's only 3 games out. See, no one believes in them. No one talks about them.
Yeah. Mets have the Phillies 2 more after tonight, 3 against Texas, 3 against San Diego. Now, it eases up after that, but the Giants have Colorado. They got St. Louis in there. I think they have 1 series with the Dodgers. I mean, this thing could flip in the next, realistically, 7 days, the way the schedule is set up and the way the Mets have been playing. Wow. All right, we'll talk more about it. Look at the other games when we come back to Game Live.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and a Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe, who I don't think is a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I may have ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 1. Scott and Gabe checking out some baseball. Time for a little SGP, same game parlay time. Let's use our beloved Red Sox out in Sacramento taking on the A's. They win last night behind Garrett Crochet. We go just the opposite as we have a guy making his his major league debut, not his pitching debut, but his major league debut for the Red Sox tonight. So, you know what? We've seen that 1,000 times. The kid was pretty good in the minors. I looked at his minor league numbers, averages well over a strikeout a pitch. So, give me Boston playing good, 8-1 their last 9 against the A's anyway, who are just kind of fading away here a little bit. We're playing halfway decent after the All-Star break, but it's been a little bit of a struggle. So start with the Red Sox. Basically pick a -108. We're going to go over 4.5 runs. A little juice there with the Red Sox. Won't go with the team total because maybe this kid actually does pitch great, lights out, and they win like 8-1, right? And then Trevor Story singles. Alex Bregman singles. Won't use a hit. We'll get a little greedy here. We'll take the chance they don't get doubled. We'll be kicking ourselves, but still Story and Bregman singles, and then the pitcher Connolly early making his debut over 4.5 strikeouts at -156. And again, if you look at his minor league numbers, and really are the A's anything more than a minor league team for the most part, right? He averages well over a strikeout an inning. So if you want to play a little side bet, a little hunch bet, that might be it on Connolly early. So Red Sox SGP game +644. What do you think?
I like the Red Sox tonight, but I'll take exception. And I'm not an athletic fan, but I'll take exception to them being a minor league team, Scott.
Well, they're in last place. Most of their better players are hurt, so they're not much more than a minor league team. Let's put it that way.
They play in a minor league stadium. You know what? They're a minor league franchise.
Yeah, I dropped the ball.
How about that?
I dropped the ball on that. Yeah, exactly.
They're a minor league Bush League franchise. I'll give you that. But listen, I bet their season win total over as far as season wins are concerned, and we'll get there. We've got to get to 71.5. They're at 66. Right now. They have lost 2 straight. I do like Boston tonight, though, as well. Massive game, obviously, for Boston, for New York. And the Toronto Blue Jays are down 2-0 still right now. And it seems like a nightly basis, Scott, that we talk about, well, somebody's getting no hit. We're still early right now. We're still early. It's the top of the 5th inning, so it's only been 4 innings. But the Blue Jays do not have a hit tonight against the Houston Astros. Normally, it's the Astros who get no hit or nearly no hit. Tonight, it's the Blue Jays that don't have a single hit.
Haven't had a no-hitter all season. That would be a decent bet on FanDuel and the like. Will there be a no-hitter with 3 weeks or so left in the regular season? Doesn't happen often that you don't get at least one no-hitter. We've come close, obviously, a couple times here this week, but so far, nothing. So Toronto +240. I mean, it's in Toronto, right? I mean, it's a pretty good hitter's ballpark.
I don't think they come back.
Really? Down to only 2?
I don't. I really. I'm on them already. But it should be noted they don't have Bo Bichette either. So
right.
Yeah, I just don't know. There's something about the Astros, isn't there, Scott? Like that's the big thing with them. Like they might not look great and stuff, but in a 5-game series, like the Blue Jays play the Astros, I bet the Astros probably beat them. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just one of those. That's what I said about the Yankees, and Yankee fans even said, "Oh no, you're crazy." About a month ago, I said, "Chill out, Yankee fans. You guys will be right there when it's all said and done." Still, and there they are. And if you get into the playoffs, you've got a shot, right? It's a lot of teams just don't win in the playoffs. The Blue Jays have not had success. The Houston Astros have, right? The Guardians, we talk about the Guardians and the Twins in the world, Scott. They get to the playoffs, they always lose to the Yankees, always, right? It's like set in stone. The Astros are different. Like the Astros get to the playoffs and they're just, it might not be pretty, but they just find a way to win baseball games. So I do have my doubts about the Blue Jays coming back tonight.
And the Astros have the guys at the top of the rotation that admittedly have not been pitching as good as they were earlier, but that could turn around real quickly.
But last week, Valdez, he's trying to hit the catcher, and they're fighting with each other. Like the Astros are weird. Like it could be so bad and so good a week later with the Astros.
Yeah. All right, I'll take a flyer on your Jays at 2-1, or you can even take that +1.5 runs. But I think they're going to go. It's only 2-0. I'll take them to come all the way back. Stankies led 2-0. Tigers tied at 2-2, bottom of the 5th inning. So back to square one with Casey Mize on the hill for Detroit. So interesting. He's their second best pitcher, and yet he was a monster underdog against the Yankees. Give you a little precursor of, maybe what's going to happen in the postseason. And that's why I wonder about this Tigers team. Once you get past Skubal, things really take a drop down pitching-wise. All right, more coming up in Game Live. Game Day, Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com. Join us next.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's the Yankee tax and the Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe. Right. I don't think it's a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I mean, I've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Hi, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the Grid. On a terrific Tuesday, Scott and Gabe till 10 p.m. Eastern Time, watching a little baseball taking center stage. So what better guy to bring on board? Mr. Rob Donaldson, UnderdogFantasy.com. You see him here, hear him all the time here on the Grid, UnderdogFantasy.com. What's going on, Rob? How are you tonight, bud?
Hey, man, we're doing well. Right now, we're kind of pending out a Mets money line, which kind of felt dead, but then a leadoff home run maybe changed some momentum. But yeah, overall, it's been a really fantastic baseball stretch over the past week here.
Oh, boy, the Mets.
Yeah, we were just asking them. So the good to even the scale here a little bit. So why the Mets tonight? And would you take them now, more importantly, down 4-1? You got a little mojo. You can grab them at 2.5 runs at plus 168. I'm seeing on FanDuel right now.
Yeah, the Phillies bullpen right now is a little bit kind of cooked in terms of the usage market, where when you look at the back end of the guys they've been using over recent games, they're probably going to have some of their guys who don't usually get a lot of run to have a little bit of innings get eaten up in this game. And so I do feel like the Mets bats can get at them late. Now, I was kind of hoping that Sean Manaea wouldn't have just a blow-up outing or, would have been able to kind of keep them in the mix of things. And unfortunately, it just did not come to fruition. But yeah, I'm probably holding off on live betting the Mets, but I'm still holding out hope for my initial wager there.
We were just talking about.
Go ahead, Gabe. I'm sorry. I was thinking, how about over 6.5 runs? I do like that play. 4-1
feels low.
The 7th inning.
They're already at 5.
Yeah.
It does, especially because we might see some. I think so, because we might see some Ryan Helsley in a low leverage, quote unquote type of spots and maybe get him right. And that just means runs are going to be coming off the board because he is playing some of the worst baseball in terms of the relievers right now in all of the game.
But we were just talking about San Francisco, and they're playing Colorado again, or Arizona, but they play Colorado again. this year. They play St. Louis this year. They always play the Dodgers tough. I see a scenario where the Mets collapse, Rob, and San Francisco actually make the playoffs. People don't talk about the San Francisco Giants, right? Number one, the national media doesn't talk about baseball to begin with. So then you get the baseball media who really are obsessed with, Dodgers, Yankees, Paul Skeens, right? Like they don't really care about anything else. Nobody talks about San Francisco. They're 12-3 in their last 15 games. They're like arguably the hottest team in baseball right now. And it hasn't really just been like one little run. Like, they'll lose and, they'll get it going again. The schedule sets up nicely. They have a lot of home games. I think they're right in this thing. And, Scott brought up the odds. It's like plus 821 right now at FanDuel to make the playoffs. If the Mets lose tonight or the Giants win tonight, Rob, the Giants are only 2 games back of the Mets. And the Mets are the ones that are under all the national media and that New York pressure. I see a Mets collapse in the cards coming.
Yeah, and that Mets rotation that was so vaunted at the beginning of the year because I thought they were kind of overperforming with guys who probably weren't supposed to be performing to that extent or that level. Now it's become very, very dire where, yeah, they have gotten a bunch of guys back in the fold, but they're not really pitching like the back of their baseball cards or even up to the expectations that were levied against them. And now that bullpen that they added on to is absolutely in shambles. It's one of the worst in baseball. And so, yeah, it's nice when you have Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Jeff McNeil, all these guys, Brandon Nimmo in your lineup. But if you're just giving up a 10 runs per game, good luck, right? The Giants play a non-sexy brand of baseball, which is why part of the reason they're not going to get a ton of eyes. But man, they have a great pitcher's ballpark at their backs in months now that are going to be a lot cold in the summer. And I do feel like that's such a leg up, especially this time of year when your lineup is starting to click a little bit better now.
How about tonight, Giants, Ray and Zallen? Pretty good pitching matchup. Where do you like? Where are you going in this game?
Yeah, and Gallen for most of the season has been a guy where I see his name on the card and I'm like, let me get the other side of that coin. But as of late, Zach Gallen has been sort of able to find it as of late. I wonder if maybe that's just because they're in a little bit of a lower leverage sort of spot where he can kind of let it loose, almost prepare for next season because the D-backs are so out of it. But on the other side, Robbie Ray, man, what a return to form. He's been fantastic. Again, we just talked about San Francisco having a pitcher-friendly ballpark at their back. Well, now you have 2 guys coming in this game who I think are really dealing and limiting hard contact, and they have that pitcher-friendly ballpark at their back with 50 and 60-degree temperatures throughout the game. So I do like the under of 7.5 throughout this game here.
Low total, but I agree. I have it listed here already. And it should be noted, I know it's not correlated with different pitchers, but I think what Rob just said, the fact that it is, you get the wind, you get that cold air, and, the ocean is right there. But they're 8-2 to the under. The last 10 times these 2 teams have played, Scott, the D-backs and the Giants just don't put runs on the board.
That's interesting. Yeah, you think if you're going to go with the Giants, I wonder if the Giants are kicking themselves for trading away Yastrzemski, right? I mean, who thought they would be in this spot, a month and a half or so ago at the trade deadline? So I know you were on the Cubs and Braves under. I think it was a 7.5 or 8.5. It's looking pretty good from that standpoint, but for the bettors now, it's 2-1, bottom of the 5th inning, and the number's now 6.5. Would you be willing to double down on that?
Yeah, I would have to have some eyes on kind of where like Strider pitch counts are, and notably if they are a little bit around that like the mid 70 number or maybe even a tick below it, I think this could sail under. If not, I would probably just hold pat because this is kind of on pace with where I thought the bullpens coming into play would kind of keep this game. Ultimately, we do want the Cubs just to kind of have this lead because the Braves bullpen notably is one of the ones where it is the deepest. The Cubs need to kind of have this more higher leverage to utilize the guys that I think can keep this game to go under.
Yeah,
90 pitches. Yeah. In the 5th through 5. So he's going to hit the wall here soon for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we'll take him off the board. How about Mets and Tigers? 2-2. Where were you on that one?
Yeah, so the Tigers and Yanks, man, this is one of the games where I really felt like in the back end of the game, it was an ultimate wild card because, yeah, the Tigers have this kind of a lot of names in their rotation and in their bullpen that are really fun to back just on paper, but my goodness, they have not been pitching like it. And obviously the Yankees bullpen struggles and just their utilization of certain guys in certain spots has been an absolute mess. And so that's why I did target a first 5 money line with the Tigers. That ended up pushing. And now on the back end of this game, this is where you can kind of just take some random stabs on overs, I think, as they're kind of going through maybe each individual inning, if you have certain guys in lineups coming up, or just the full game over. Right now, I think you could really get a 2-2 game all the way up to 6-6 in just a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Gabe.
Yeah, I was just going to say it's amazing. You're right. Extra innings. God knows what can happen with these totals. It's a little high at the 7.5. Jay's still losing 2-0, and there's still being no hit, just for the record. So Blue Jays getting no hit right now. Houston have 7 hits, and we were kidding earlier, Rob, that it's normally the Astros that are normally no hit. But how about the Dodgers? In 2 of the last 3 games, they've had a no hitter going into the 9th inning, and we haven't had a no hitter. We and Scott were just talking about this since 2005. Scott, that's the last time there was not a no hitter. So it's been 20 years.
Season.
Yeah.
Wow.
What do you think, Rob?
Yeah.
You think there'll be one in the next 3 weeks, Rob? There's got to be, huh? We're getting so close.
I feel like no. I feel like not, because the analytics that we've kind of seen, especially during September call-up time, has actually limited a lot of starting pitchers going deep because they're saving them for the playoffs. And that almost is like playing a detriment now to like those longevity no-hitter, really fun moments.
I know. We need a stiff. That's why it's never a star pitcher that gets it. You need like a journeyman guy that the manager doesn't care about. It's true. Right? That's just the truth.
130 pitches, go ahead.
Go ahead, buddy. Yeah. Write a book about it after. You know what I mean? Like,
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe, who I don't think is a great football team, but still a ranked team, and then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule they've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 1. Thanks again, Rob Donaldson. UnderdogFantasy.com is the site for all the fun with Rob. So checking the board here. Let's see if we can find a couple of plays that jump off the board.
Houston
here.
just scored, Scott, again.
Wow.
Just as you said this, as we speak, type deal. Yeah, they just scored 3-0, second and third with 2 out right now. So it's not going to be the Jays' night tonight. I'm just wondering. I want to get the odds up if they're going to get no hit. Just we do it on a nightly basis, so let's just see.
Right.
See what the number is. Oh my goodness, this is whacked out, Scott. It's plus 250.
Oh,
what the hell? We're in the 6th inning right now.
Yeah, I guarantee you they don't offer a no, right? They don't offer a no bet on that.
No, there is. So you could go over.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
So over. All right. No. Okay. So you know what? Let me get this correct here. Team alternative. Team this. All right. I had run, Scott. My bad. My apologies, because I was going to go. What the hell? I have the Blue Jays over. Even that's interesting. Over 0.5 runs, Scott. Blue Jays plus 250. Will they score a run tonight? You get plus 250. You don't even need to win the game.
That's not bad. You got 4 at bats. Right? I mean, we haven't had a no-hitter. Winners bet win streaks, losers bet against. It doesn't mean they're going to get a no-hitter. Get a hit. I get that, but you got 4 at bats.
You were right about the no-hitter. 12-1. You said 11-1. So good call there. It's 12-1 that the Blue Jays. I'm getting confused here because they have like alternate lines on the alternate line, Scott. Right? So it's like the alternate of this.
Of the alternate.
Like, so, yeah, I have these crazy odds. I'm like, what the hell is this? So I have to get it right. So my bad, my apologies for spitting out a wrong number. But the no hit, Toronto Blue Jays under 0.5 hits is plus 1,200.
Wow. It's not. It's not. I'd rather have less odds and wait till the 8th versus better odds and do it in the 6th inning.
And it's never happened yet, guys, this year. And me and Scott have been on for the last, whatever. It's happened. It's almost every night that we're on, Wetzel. Me and Wetzel are on. And there's like a no-hitter in the 6th or 7th. That never happens. What happened?
3-run homer Phillies. 7-0. Over 6.5.
Oh, good call. Good call with this. Yeah, boom. That was only 1.5. Like, it was at 5. Yeah. That was a good eye seeing that. It is weird. Yeah, and we're in a Met game.
Yeah, with their bad bullpen and the Phillies' awful bullpen, how weren't you going to get 2 more runs in 3 innings, right? So, was that I want to see who the pitcher was. That was a good point by Rob with Halsley. I don't know if they brought Halsley in, but that's a pretty, it's kind of like the Stankies with Devin Williams, right? If they're leading or trailing 4-1, game scene's over 5-1, and that's when you're going to bring these bums in, right? So if you know that, then you bet the over on either team total or game total. So I think one of the things I love to do. Go ahead.
If you just hit the 6.5 and you got the win, I wouldn't be opposed to rolling some of it over again on the over 9.5 now. You're getting plus 135, so you're getting plus money. 9.5, they're at 8. Like, it could easily happen again. It's only another 2 runs, right? So you still have the Mets. Yeah, you still have the Mets batting in the. Yeah, you still have the Mets batting in the 8th and the 9th, and you still have the Phillies batting in the 8th. So you still have another 9 outs to get 2 runs, which is a real display. Like I said, like Scott just said, the Phillies might blow this thing open and be up 10-1 in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would take that. FanDuel's got it at 8.5, but it's crazy juice minus 192. I wouldn't do that. I did, give me the 9.5. Unless you want to put it in a parlay. But I think we're going to get some more runs. Oof.
Yeah, they just moved it here to 8.5, minus 160, 8.5. You're telling me there's not going to be one more run in this game?
I know. You're not going to get an outfielder throwing for the Mets, but you're going to get Halsley. I bet you get Halsley throwing for the Mets next inning. 7-1 game. Absolutely. Or they keep this guy in who just gave up 3 runs. So
Rangers take a 1-0 lead. Rangers on the board.
There you go. Nice.
Rangers up 1-0. Minus 170 now, Rangers. Milwaukee Brewers plus 140.
Yeah, Brewers are only, and listen, they're not playing for anything, and every team's going to go through these stretches, right? You're not going to play 800 ball the entire season. But that all said, they're only about 500 since that great run I think I saw last night they're 8-9 or 9-8. That's all, it's basically 500 ball over the last 2 weeks. Not playing for anything. They got everything all locked up. I get that. But that's why I was a little surprised at Texas. It was only pick 'em tonight. Texas at home. Rangers are playing good. They're great at home. 45-28 at home. 17 games over 500 at home. They're god awful on the road. I did like the Rangers tonight. So it's a good little 1-0 start there for them.
If you look at Milwaukee, they were never as good as like their 12-game win streak or whatnot, right? And yeah, they had a great record and they put it together. I think they peaked too early. I think there's a ceiling as far as like their potential once you get to the playoffs. And I don't want to say the division is terrible. Like, we look at divisions here, Scott, but what's the worst division in baseball? Is this one? It's very similar to the Centrals are very similar.
Probably the Central. Yeah.
Yeah, like both Centrals, right? So let's just call it, you know what? The East isn't great, actually. You know what I mean? So if you look at the East, there's 3 losing teams in the East. But I'm just stating the Reds are average. The Reds are a 500 team. They're 72-72 right now. St. Louis Cardinals, 72-73. The Pittsburgh Pirates are terrible. Milwaukee don't play in the toughest division. Let's call it out for what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it is, and when you're not playing high pressured games, they've had the best record. They've had this Division 1 for over a month now, right? I mean, so it just makes things a little different. It's tough to evaluate a club like that. So, all right, so 1-0 Texas. Still giving you a decent price on the Rangers, -188. It's not even 2-1. They got a 1-0 lead. I don't have any issue with that. Does the PP hit tonight? The public parlay. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Dodgers -335 against the Rockies. And then we got Seattle laying 2-1 at home against St. Louis. That's the public parlay.
I don't trust Seattle.
Yeah, Dodgers, right, yes. But yeah, who wants to lay 2-1 with the Seattle Mariners, right? I was on St. Louis last night playing a little hunch, so I'd probably stay away from that. But you never know. We'll break it all down when we come back to Game Live.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's the Yankee tax and the Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe. Right. I don't think it's a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule they've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe closing out hour number 1. So we nearly just had our 8th run with the Mets. One of the guys hit one off the wall that was about 4 inches from going over the center field wall. Of course, he didn't hustle, so he ends up on second base. So the sac flies out of the equation. Thank you very much. Not that it matters as Soto just popped out in the infield. So, all right, so 2 out, runner on second base, looking for one more run. Mets trailing 7-1. So, time for, you know what it is, the final segment of the first hour, Black Cloud Play of the Day. We got a bunch of wins with the Black Clouds, and I don't think, out of all our losses, this is the one that we always go back to that probably has accumulated about half of our losses. We're going to go right back to the LA Dodgers. Why not? We're going to lay the run and a half. It's minus 150. It's a manageable number. They own Colorado. Who doesn't, right? But they are 12-3 or 13-2 their last 15 meetings, including 8-1 at home where they're playing tonight. Nearly all of those, literally, I think there's only 1 or 2 at most that haven't been at least 2 runs or more. So chances are they're going to win, and they're going to win by 2 runs or better. So they got the pitching matchup. They're playing for everything. Padres playing at the same time. They got to deal with, holding off San Diego. So they can't poo-poo this one. And they beat up teams like Colorado. That's with 24-10 against the 6-7 worst teams in baseball this season. And that's where they make their hay. So especially after they struggled a little bit last, they're going to struggle 2 games in a row against Colorado. I just don't see it. So, base hit Mets. And they make it. They don't tie the game, but the 7-2, so the over 8.5 hits. How about that? But yeah, give me the Dodgers game laying a run and a half minus 150.
Yeah, it's hard not to like the Dodgers. They do handle their business against the Colorado Rockies. I don't, we talk about it though when you said, you got San Diego winning and stuff. That doesn't help teams, right? You know what I mean? Like they're not going to win or lose because they need the game. They want to win every game they play. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like teams. It's a baseball game. They go up there. It's a numbers game. But they do dominate against the Colorado Rockies. I never like to assume that, a team is going to beat somebody, but the Dodgers do, just dominate. And Max Muncy's back in the lineup. And I'll be honest, I've been critical of Max Muncy in the past. And, I thought that he was somewhat the weak link. But I got to be, this year – they win a lot more with Max. It's one of those crazy deals. Like the Dodgers, 500 without Max Muncy and 16 games over when he's in the lineup. He's just meant so much to them, and he's hit. He's been hitting the ball hard this year. He was hot before he got hurt. Marquez on the hill here tonight, Scott. Marquez has given up a home run in 7, at least 1 or more home run in 7 straight starts. So really, for you home run prop players, you just got to sort of say, all right, Marquez is giving up a home run tonight, right? He might give up multiple home runs. The question is, who is he going to give the home run up to? And I'm going to go with Max Muncy. Muncy in 34 at bats has 4 home runs against Marquez in his career. Muncy just came back from the injured list last night, so he's got a game under his belt right now. Same thing. Muncy is going to hit a home run probably in this series. I say it happens tonight, Scott. I'm going to take Max Muncy to hit a home run at plus 325, and I'm with you with the Dodgers minus 1.5.
All right. That's not bad. I like that. Those are halfway decent numbers. You wouldn't think one guy with that lineup being as talented as it is, right? All right, you're going to have injuries and different things, but you're right. It just adds one more, whether it's Hernandez or Betts. The lineup is stacked. You'd think they would survive without one guy being in there, but they do play better when he's there. Underrated guy, not a big, he's not going to hit 330 for you, but, clutch hits, clutch situations, he gets the job done. So I do like that. Mets threatening here. They scored that run, right? So they got 2 on, 2 out in the top of the 8th inning. So, a little 3-run homer here. We got ourselves a new game there. Tigers just scored 2 against the Stankies. Now lead New York 4-2. So, and as you pointed out in the break, Toronto, and I love doing this game. Toronto breaks up the no-hitter. They get a home run, actually. So it's 3-1. It's only bottom of the 6th. Little system I played over the years, and I've hit it, and it came in. I didn't play it, but it came in again with the Dodger-Baltimore game. I love betting on teams that are being no-hit, and they break up the no-hitter. No matter what the score is, no matter what the situation. I'm telling you, it's just one of those things I've noticed over the years. But when a team thinks they're going to get a no-hitter and it doesn't happen, it just deflates the entire team. Now, this is only the 6th inning, so it's not that bad, but little hunch bet on Toronto, who I had earlier today.
I'm already on the Jays. For the record, guys, 25 and 29 without Max Muncy, the Dodgers this year.
There you go. How about that?
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and a Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe, who I don't think is a great football team, but still a ranked team, and then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I mean, I've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
Hi, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the Grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Scott Wetzel, Gabriel Morency until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We got some baseball stuff going on. A little WNBA as well. We will check in with the WNBA, the ladies. Decent little game later on tonight with Seattle and Golden State. That's really the marquee game tonight. We'll break that all down. Check out some of the lines and hopefully find a couple of winners for us along the way. So for the new viewers, Gabe, a little recap. How are your plays going so far tonight?
Well, you know what? We don't have a lot of early action tonight, guys. We're on the Texas Rangers. Yeah. So we pulled the trigger on the Rangers. That game still early right now. The Rangers up 1-0 on the Milwaukee Brewers. We did take the Toronto Blue Jays. They were getting no hit up until the last inning. So we got a 3-1 game in Toronto right now. We're in the top of the 7th inning. But for me, Scott, it was more about the Texas Rangers, the San Francisco Giants, and the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight.
Yeah. I got a little SGP with the Red Sox. The same thing. A lot of late games. Sometimes you just have a lot of West Coast games. That was kind of the focus tonight. We were on Texas. We're on San Fran. I'm on the Dodgers as well. So, and then the Seattle a little bit later on. And then I got the SGP
I'll take
with
Boston
the Red Sox.
too.
I think they win. Yeah.
I'll take Boston too. But you know what? Last night, obviously, we were on during the J.J. McCarthy experience, and really was unbelievable, Scott. Like how from the first half until how the game ended, until when you see the stats after that, he was the first rookie to lead first player in his first start to lead a double-digit comeback in the fourth quarter since Steve Young. Steve Young.
Wow.
In 1985. Best debut for a Viking quarterback when it was all said and done since Frank Tarkenton. Like, yeah, he didn't throw for the yards, but the 2 touchdowns and running for the touchdown. and great clips in the room after about, the team and, basically the coach saying, we believed in them and we knew this was going to happen. And here we are right now and all this. But I've already looked ahead, Scott. Sunday Night Football. You and I talked about it last night. You got the national championship rematch here, so to speak. Michael Penix versus J.J. McCarthy. The Falcons, that was week 1. And the Falcons, the Buccaneer defense is pretty good, Scott. So you know as well as I do, that game should have been 23-23 going to overtime, right? Yeah. So they should have put up 23 points in that football game. Their offense is a lot better than the Bears is. And I know I don't want to make this into the throw to Caleb Williams out of the bus show, but I think I trust Michael Penix more than Caleb Williams. Like, Penix can throw the football. Where I'm going with this, Scott, the total is 45 in this game, Minnesota and Atlanta. I like the over, and I think the number is gonna go up. So I've got an early week NFL bet here on Sunday Night Football. Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons over 45 points on Sunday Night Football. We saw J.J. McCarthy totally get comfortable as the game went on. I think that'll continue into Sunday night. It'll be at home, his first home game, a much friendlier situation than on the road against Chicago. And indoors, and the Falcons, I think the Falcons will be able to move the ball, Scott. I think primetime game, Sunday Night Football. I'll be shocked if they stays under 45. Hell, 24-21 gets us the push. Let's go over 45, Wetzel. Atlanta and Minnesota, Sunday Night Football.
All right. That'll be interesting. Can the kid come back down to earth, right? Because all week long they're going to be telling him how great he is, and they got their quarterback in the future. They made the right decision with Sam Darnold, especially with Darnold playing so poorly, right? So he's going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Scott, he's 64-3 as a starter in his life. I don't think he suffers letdown, Scott.
Wow. 64-3. All right.
He's 6. All right. Listen. He lost 2 high school games in his career. He lost once at Michigan. He went 27-1 at Michigan, and now he's 1-0. So high school, college, pro, he's 64-3 right now.
Wow. How did he lose twice in high school, right? College, you understand, obviously. But who were the high school teams
I'll tell you what,
he lost to?
It wasn't his fault, Scott. I even know the score off the top of my head. He lost 72-36. Clearly, the other team was better.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you going to do? His defense gave up 72 points. He can only do so much. And hell, the game that he lost, Scott, the only game that he lost with Michigan was that playoff game to TCU. And he put up 45 points. They lost 51-45. So think about that. Yeah. The one game he lost in college, he actually put up 45 points.
Yeah. That's amazing. So he's put up 36. I don't know what the other score was, but bottom line is he wasn't being shut out, So it wasn't necessarily his fault in at least 2 of the 3 losses that he's had. But different story. It'll be interesting. Plenty of time to get to that. All right, so you don't like the PP tonight, speaking of Seattle. You don't want to use Dodgers and Seattle Mariners and basically pick them?
I think Seattle probably – I think they probably win.
San Fran, to tell you the truth, but go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, but I don't – Seattle aren't like parlay material to me. Like if I'm going to do a parlay, either it's all right, I'm rolling with an underdog parlay here and I'm taking the shot, and or if I'm looking for a favorite parlay, I'm looking for 2 teams that I'm willing to die on the hill with, right? And say, all right, you know what? They beat me. I was wrong. Seattle at home. Yeah, they should win this game tonight. They're on a 3-game win streak as well. Right now, they're like a lot of teams. They're streaky, but not in love with it. I'd rather just play the Dodgers and worry about the Dodgers at minus 150 on the run line.
All right. I'll put in Seattle. I'll do 2. I'll put in Seattle and the Dodgers, and that brings it down to basically pick them, and then I'll throw the Giants in there. The Giants, it's kind of weird. I like the Giants more than Seattle, and the Giants are less of a favorite, only minus 142, so we're getting better odds at plus 121, but it just seems kind of like I might as well just play the Giants straight up. Kind of like you would
see. I don't need. Yeah, I don't need to play exactly like when you're getting minus 140, you can just play San Francisco outright. Now, listen, it does boost that parlay up. I'm not opposed to it. Once in a while, I'll do that, Scott. Like I will play like a pick'em type of game and put the Dodgers at the back end of it, right? So this isn't, I've done this before. The problem is, listen, it turns into plus 120. Once again, it's not really worth it. I'd rather just lay minus 140 and minus 150 than get plus 120 in case one of them loses.
Yeah. Philly scored again, so you keep on playing that over in that game with those two teams, and they're still in the
over 9.5 plus 135.
Yeah, not bad. And the Tigers are blowing out the Stankies now 10-2, top of the 7th inning. So that's nice. I actually did like the Yankees tonight, I must say, but obviously that's not going to happen. 10-2. Let me see if they brought in Devin Williams, just to kind of rub it in the Yankees fans' faces. And if he let this thing get out of hand,
better fire Aaron Boone again. They're losing a game.
Yeah.
Better fire the manager. But it might be an instance. Listen, Toronto are losing, and Houston have runners on first and second right now, so this could get worse for them. They're down 3-1 right now. Becomes a big game for the Boston Red Sox tonight. But we often see, for whatever reason, when a bunch of teams lose in a division, everybody does almost. Like we saw it with San Diego and LA for basically a week and a half. They literally both went 3-7 in a 10-game run after they played each other. Like, you can't make that up. Like, if you're San Diego, I'd just be so frustrated that they allowed that to happen. But you look at tonight's game, it's hard not to like the Red Sox. I think the Red Sox do get it done tonight. I think Dustin May shows. I think early Dustin May was going to pitch, but I think your early pick here. I like the unknown here. The Athletic Bats don't know him. I like the Sox in a pick'em spot. They're actually underdogs now, minus 105.
Yeah, Connolly early making his major league debut for the Bo Sox tonight.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
This is the moment every fan waits for. The countdown's over. The road to kickoff has begun.
Play is here to stay.
I'm not going to name names, Kevin.
From win totals to player props, from division races to MVP debates, we've got eyes on every camp and data feeding 24/7, breaking down every angle across the league. Every pick, every edge, every line that matters. SportsGrid. Your road to kickoff starts now.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip, try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Scott and Gabe checking some baseball. Little WNBA. We haven't touched on that. We had 5 games tonight. One's already in the books. Liberty won over Washington. Game went under, and Washington actually covered as a 14-point dogs. They lost by 11. Other one going on now is a blowout. Indiana beating up on Minnesota 80-61 with 4.5 minutes left to go. So, I mean, it's not unbettable. Nothing's unbettable, but 18.5 points in a meaningless game for Minnesota. Indiana, for the most part, is kind of locked into their situation. So then there are only 1 or 2 games left, depending on the team in the regular season. Got 3 that are starting here in a little bit, including Golden State and Seattle game. I'll start there. That's the one that's got the most importance in it. Golden State, for the most part, locked in to the number 6 spot. They need 1 win in their last 2 to clinch the number 6 spot, and they play at Minnesota next time out. So it's really all about Seattle. They need a win to make the playoffs. Simple as that. They lost their last game against New York. Didn't win. Go ahead.
With Indiana winning tonight, and I said earlier about like baseball teams, it's 162 games, and they're not score. They're going to want to win despite what their scoreboard watching. But Golden State and Indiana both have 23 wins, Scott, and Indiana's on the verge of winning again, as you stated, right? So they're on the verge of putting another win on the board. So this actually is big for Golden State. This is where you get into the who does Golden State rather play in the playoffs as well? You know what I mean? I don't know. Like maybe they don't, they don't want that seed or this seed or whatnot. But I know Seattle need the game to clinch a playoff spot, but I'm not willing to lay the points with them tonight. I could see Seattle winning the game, Scott, but not covering the number tonight. Golden State still are playing for something, and Golden State aren't the type of team to roll over against anybody, like to begin with. They're so good defensively, they're hard to play against to begin with. And as I stated, they both have 23 wins. Like technically, the Valkyries here are going to be they're only a half game up right now. So technically, if Indiana win, they would be tied, Scott, as Golden State game would tip off tonight. So they are battling like for that, that 6th seed right now.
Yeah. That's why they need to win. They hold the head-to-head tiebreaker for whatever reason over Indiana. So Golden State has to at least get 1 win out of their last 2. Otherwise,
pretty impressive by Indiana that they made the playoffs without Caitlin Clark. Like, let's tip our cap. Yeah. Like, it's funny because no one talks about the Indiana Fever because Clark's not there and because Cunningham's not there. And hell, people talk more about Cunningham than they did Clark when she got there suddenly, Scott, right? Yeah. People aren't talking about him, but it goes to show how good Aaliyah Boston is. She's been flying under the radar there, and I think she's done a good job because she's so good and no one talks about her. Like, she's you know what I mean? You got the hot blonde girl, you got Caitlin Clark, and then you got Aaliyah Boston, right? So she's sort of the forgotten one despite her consistency, but got to tip your cap. Like, I'm amazed at the Fever. Like, you could argue that they shouldn't have made the playoffs and, getting to, try to get a higher draft pick and all that. But let's tip our cap to the Indiana Fever for actually not just making the playoffs, but already clinching a playoff spot. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. And not only Clark and Cunningham, but then Aaron McDonald as well. The 3 arguably best players, or certainly 3 of their best, are all out with season-ending injuries. 4 in total. So, yeah, that's right. I kind of thought that maybe I didn't look at the WNBA. I don't know how their draft thing goes, but you know what? They've been such a bad franchise for so long. Even without Caitlin Clark, maybe in the long run, it's better for them to make the playoffs versus being, again, losing. So, yeah, good job by them. Vegas, how about Vegas going for win number 15 in a row? They beat Chicago a couple days ago, 80-66. This is the second game. Chicago is just playing out the string. I don't know if Angel Reese is playing. She can. She's not suspended, but she has a bad back. So all that hoopla about her sitting out the first half of the game that she got suspended for, she ended up not playing at all. So 14 straight. It's a monster number. Chicago
17
3-19
points
in the last 22. Yeah, 17. That tells me Reese isn't playing.
I like the money line parlay, but it's 22-1 on the money line with the aces. And the Angel Reese stuff, she wasn't wrong in her comments. And it's funny because now you've got WNBA execs trying to stir the pot and get in her head to get out of there. in which they said it was comically embarrassing for the Chicago organization to suspend their best player for telling them to get better. And I'm telling you, Scott, I brought this up like 2 years ago. I've caught on like just how bad they are at the WNBA draft. Like I watch a lot of women's college basketball, and I'm always amazed. They leave good players on the table. They screw up their draft pretty much. Cardoso's a good player, but other than that, like the Haley Van Lith pick was just a wasted pick this year. They go for these named players and stuff, Scott, and an unnamed NBA, put your name on it, but an unnamed WNBA exec said Angel Reese should get out of there. They're never going to win. It's a clown show there. And he said they're by far the worst run organization in the WNBA. And I don't think he's wrong, or she was wrong, whoever said that.
Wow. That's something. All right. I don't know how long the contracts initially go with the WNBA to start with, but I'm guessing she's probably locked in there for at least a couple more years, right? This is only year number 2. So
that's she gets crucified for smiling. Imagine she demanded a trade. Dear God, she'd be the worst devil ever.
Yeah.
Oh, she's evil. How could she do this? I know there's this 3-year entry deal, Scott, when you sign, but I don't know the CBA, et cetera, how long you're locked in with the team after, right? But it's a 3-year contract initially, I know. Yeah. You know what? I'll just punch this in. When will Caitlin Clark be a free agent? We'll find out. Or when will Angel Reese be a free agent?
Yeah. See what that comes up with. So imagine Caitlin Clark as a free agent. You talk about making money, right? I mean, listen, WNBA players don't make a lot of money. But if anyone was going to, if she hit free agency.
You know the New York Liberty would go after her.
Oh, absolutely. And the WNBA, no offense to Indiana folks, but
they would want her with the Sparks or the Liberty,
If they move Connecticut to Boston and that deal gets through, have her be there, definitely.
She's a free agent after the 2027 season. It's not that far off, bro. Next year's 2026.
Yeah. So it must be they all get 4-year deals. Yeah, not bad. One more game. We'll look at LA and Phoenix. Actually, a pretty good game. Implications on the line playoff-wise with that one. We'll look at that when we come back.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe, who I don't think is a great football team, but still a ranked team, and then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule they've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe taking up the little basketball. Doug Farmer, covers.com, will join us in 5 minutes, and we'll go over to some more WNBA with him. So this is a halfway decent game. The other one game on the slate, Sparks and Phoenix Mercury. LA needs to win their final 2 games against Phoenix tonight and Las Vegas next game, and then have Seattle lose to Golden State tonight, which is possible, in order to make the playoffs. So that they kind of can screw things up there a little bit. Phoenix, they need to win their last 2 and have Las Vegas lose to LA to get the number 4 playoff spot, because somehow or another they lost to Connecticut over the weekend. That's a horrible.
So everybody's actually playing for something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I was sort of thinking, like the last week, Scott, like you and I to talk a lot of WNBA. We bet a lot of WNBA. But with teams clinching the playoffs, I've sort of, and NFL football, college football over the weekend, sort of, backed off a little bit. But there are still teams, as you stated. LA aren't going to roll over. They'll die on the hill if they can tonight. I'm actually attracted by the Dogs tonight, Scott. I think we got close games. The Sparks and Mercury. Sparks getting 7.5. Valkyrie's getting 6.5.
Yeah, that's not bad. The Vegas one's a little crazy with 16.5. I see on FanDuel, but with their playoff lives on the line for LA. Yeah, I'd be surprised if they got blown out. Maybe they don't win, but I don't think they're going to lose by basically double digits. I really don't. So we'll talk to Doug Farmer, covers.com, a little bit more when he comes on here in a second. So just wanted to throw that out there. Baseball-wise, runs keep coming. Philadelphia, the Mets. That was 6.5, right? A half hour ago. We were on it, so pat ourselves on the back. It's now, 9-3. No matter what number you got it at, you went over. Top of the 9th inning, you got 12 runs. That's getting killed. 11-2 Stanks trailing over the Tigers. We got something brewing with our Jays here, and I say "our" because I got money on them tonight. So Houston up 3-1 over Toronto. Jays have a runner on base on second. Looks like with in fact, I got the game on second with one out. Yeah. Still getting 3-1 on Toronto, but a little 2-run homer here, tie it up wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Can we get that?
They got a pinch hitter in here, so maybe you got some pitch hitting magic right now with France in the box. We'll see. Houston's bullpen has been shaky in the past. The Blue Jays have had some late comebacks this year. The Blue Jays I'm seeing here right now, the Blue Jays dugout's very engaged. Everybody's standing up and sort of has like not a playoff feel, quite a playoff feel, but it kind of does actually, to be honest. If you're watching, Scott, look, you got a sold-out stadium. There's like 45,000 people in there. Like, there's the city of Toronto's buzzing about this team, but they're starting to get a little bit worried because that lead, which was like 5.5, 6 before, is obviously shrinking right now. And as you stated, the Yankees are getting drilled tonight. The Blue Jays are currently losing right now. The stakes keep on getting higher for the Boston Red Sox game tonight against the Athletics. And no, now there's 2 outs, Scott. Ground out to third base. So we'll keep our eye on the Blue Jays here. And the Rangers are up. The Rangers were up. Brewers just scored 1-1 right now. And the Brewers have runners on first and third.
I saw second and third with 2 out. I was hoping they would get out of that inning. The winner of the AL East, that's a big win, whoever ends up winning that thing, right? Because Tigers are going to have the number 1 seed more than likely, so crazy happens. I shouldn't say that. Tigers will be one of the number 1, 2 seeds. And then the AL East winner right now, Toronto, has 61 losses. That puts them either 1 or 2. So and they're going to have a better record than the Houston Astros, again, unless something crazy happens. So the Astros, or whoever wins the AL West, will more than likely be in that first best-of-3 wild card situation. So that's why the AL East winner really benefits, because they don't, obviously, to make the playoffs, and 2, they don't have to play in that best-of-3, whereas the team that finishes in second or third place.
And the best-of-3 is only in one stadium, too, right, Scott? They don't travel.
Yeah.
It's just, travel. So if it goes 3, like the team with the better record just gets home field for the series.
Yeah. You look at the Dodgers, Gabe. I mean, it's crazy how much is still on the line, right? First of all, they got to win the division. You imagine winning the division and then, or not winning your division, but have to play the Dodgers because the Dodgers end up being a wild card team. And then the Dodgers, they could even fall down to the third wild card spot. Like their record is, we've all been kind of poo-pooing their record, right? But their record is not great. They could be the third wild card team and play San Diego, or even the second wild card team and be playing on the road for those 3 games, depending on who the other number 1 wild card team is. So
yeah, they're
they
not
turn it around.
You're right. The Dodgers, and they're not catching Milwaukee, Scott. They're 9 games back of the Brewers, and they're 4 back of the Phillies right now.
More coming up.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's the Yankee tax and the Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe. Right. I don't think it's a great football team, but still a ranked team. And then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I mean, I've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, hour number 2. We'll put the baseball aside, although we'll continue to keep an eye on that. Obviously, let's talk a little WNBA. We got 3 games starting at the top of the hour. Playoff implications on the line as we welcome in Doug Farmer. Covers.com is his own great website, great gambling website, Covers.com. What's going on, Doug, Scott, and Gabe? How are you today, bud?
What's going on? I'm excited for a few more games tonight, especially after the Minnesota Lynx did me a favor. Me, a Lynx fan, did me a favor and lost. I saw that coming from a mile away and made sure to profit to start the night.
Not bad. They've actually played okay since they've clinched everything. I give them a lot of credit. A lot of teams just fall off the wagon completely. They've actually won a few games there, but obviously not tonight with Indiana having all the setup. So we'll start Golden State and Seattle with the game itself. So Golden State getting 6.5, depending on where you do your shopping. They need a win. Seattle needs to win to make the postseason. How do you see this one playing out?
I think it's all the way up to 7.5 at a good number of books, and that's because Seattle does so badly need this. I stayed off this game. I don't like betting against the Valkyries. They are so diabolical sometimes. Such a delight of an expansion franchise. You look at this, though, Seattle so badly needs this that you have to assume the Storm are going to put together a complete game. Whereas the Valkyries, they could fall to the 7th seed, but with the Fever losing tonight, the Valkyries are probably pretty okay with tonight being whatever it is.
And it's one of these deals, too. You almost wonder, I don't think teams roll over. But at the same point in time, Doug, teams do have better matchups. Let's be real. They do it in the NBA. So it's not crazy to think they do it in WNBA as well, right? Teams in the NBA are always playing games late in the season because they don't want to play a certain team. They don't like the matchup. As you stated, Golden State are a tough deal because they play such good defense. But if I'm Golden State, I don't want to have to end up playing the smoking hot Aces. And that's where they are right now. They'd almost be better off, to be honest, dropping to the 7th. Right? I mean, I'm just saying out loud. I'd rather play Atlanta than Las Vegas.
By the end of the night, Vegas and Atlanta are going to be tied. You don't know who's getting that 2 or that 3 right now. Yes, I am willing to just outright assume Vegas is going to win tonight. They are currently an 18.5-point favorite against the woe-begone, ticked off our franchise superstar, Chicago Sky. I'm willing to say that game's over. I said earlier the Fever already made me some money. That was a little bit of a lie. I got, let's see here, 8 extra cents of price on that by pairing it with a Vegas Aces money line. So I'm still waiting on that to come home to collect my Fever winnings. But so at the end of the night, to the original point, the Dream and the Aces are going to be tied at 2-3. So the Valkyries aren't going to be playing that game because they don't know where they would land in that scenario.
No, and I'm not saying they would, but I'm saying they would be better off playing. They're better off. Now, you get the travel. Yeah, you get the travel situation, but they're not going to take the pedal off the metal because they don't know. And similar situation with the Sparks. Yeah, they're up against it, but they're not mathematically eliminated yet, and you're getting points, enough points to interest me tonight. I don't think they're going to get blown out tonight. What do you think about that one?
I heard some of that segment right before I came on, and, it's good content to come in and say I disagree. Improv is supposed to be yes, and it's good content for me to say I'm not so fast on that, my friend. I think the Sparks can read the writing on the wall. They need Seattle to lose. They need to beat the Mercury, and they need to beat the Aces. Los Angeles Sparks know. They know. They're not stupid. I'm looking at that game, and I'm thinking Kelsey Plum is just going to go do her thing. In 3 games against Phoenix this year, she's taken 9 threes, 10 threes, and 7 threes. One of my favorite bets tonight is betting on Kelsey Plum to chuck. 3+ 3-pointers is available at plus 158, and that is just me saying the Sparks know. Let's just go have our fun. Kelsey Plum, go do your thing. You've had a transcendent season that has been underappreciated by the WNBA writ large. She's going to chuck. I don't think the Sparks have any realistic expectations of making the playoffs at this point.
Yeah, but you know what? Teams can play well when they're playing loose, and I think they will be loose.
That's a fair point. I just don't see them playing a cohesive game. I don't see all 40 minutes. I don't see both ends of the court. They know. They know. And am I betting this against the spread? No, because I'm betting Kelsey Plum's going to shoot a ton. And, well, you never know. Maybe she goes 5 of 11 and this is a 6-point game. But I don't think it's going to be a genuinely competitive game.
All right. How about the third game? Willing to lay 16.5? How are you going to attack Las Vegas and Chicago?
Wasn't willing to lay 16.5. Certainly not willing to lay the 18 or the 18.5 I see on the odds board in front of me. I am willing to go get a first half number. The Aces are looking to win this game, go get that 2 seed if they can, without taxing their stars. They do not have enough bench to rely on Asia Wilson and Chelsea Gray and Jewel Lloyd. They can't do it. So I'm taking a first half spread, full 10 points, the full 10. And just saying they're going to be up big at halftime and then coast to the finish. Similar thought, that coast to the finish, you get Asia Wilson under 25.5 points. There's a little bit of juice, but I'm saying she's not going to play more than 25 minutes total. Now, could she score 26 in the first half? Yes, she's Asia Wilson. She's the second best player in the world. But I'm willing to take that risk and say she's going to be on the bench halfway through their third quarter because they're going to be up 24, and we'll see what the final score is. It won't really matter.
I agree with that take.
Yeah. Back to Golden State. How about, FanDuel now has it at 125-1. Gabe and I brought it up last week when it was 150-1. It might be 100-1 in some shops, but a little flyer on Golden State to win it all. Not necessarily thinking they're going to win it all, Doug, but you're going to be in a position to maybe hedge at 125-1 odds if they can win a series.
You are trying to get in a position to hedge if they win a series. And I'm staring at the WNBA standings off to my left here. I'm trying to do the math of who could move up, who could move down. Let's say their first round is against either the Dream or the Aces. They're not getting by the Aces. There's only one team in the WNBA who would be happy to face the Aces, and that's the Lynx. Could they get by the Dream? Yes, they could. Would they? I doubt it, but they could. So if you're saying that 125-1, that 100-1, I'm making that play. I know they've got the Dream. And then I'm saying Valks win one, and then I'm already in a hedge position. Win one game, and I probably have a hedge available. I am not looking to have that ticket in my pocket if they've got the aces in the first round. And so right now I still wave off that because of that concern. We don't know how these standings are going to filter out. 2-3 is real tight. You can argue 3-4 is real tight, and 6-7 still real tight. These are all going to flip at least once.
Anybody beating Minnesota?
Look, I've got feet right there on my wall. I've got tickets to the first game Sunday night. I don't even know who we're playing or what time. Is anybody beating Minnesota? No. And good Lord willing, give me the liberty. Let us remind them that Stewie traveled. We all saw it. The commissioner was wearing a Liberty dress. We all have eyes and common sense. Let us expose them for the frauds they are and bring home the first valid title in the last 2 years in the WNBA.
I'm not sure the Liberty get past the Mercury if they play each other in the first round, to be honest.
Good Lord willing, we get to exact that revenge and remind the world that Stewie traveled.
Yeah, they're strong. What do you make of them? We talked a little bit about it the last time you were on the air, but they haven't played any better. They're a 500 team since their 9-0 start. Even struggled to win tonight against a lousy Washington team. Everybody's hurt on the team. What do you make of New York?
The WNBA is at this wonderful inflection point in team building in that depth is no longer a guarantee. When it was the 144, 12 teams of 12 players, it was the toughest league in the world to break into. Now you add 12 more. That's only 12 more with the Valks, and then we're adding more and more in the next couple of years. Depth is no longer a guarantee. The Aces have struggled without depth and have had to figure out a whole new rotational pattern. The Liberty have a big three who was excellent and crickets. The Liberty are so thin. That is why Minnesota should scare them. That is why Phoenix should scare them, because these teams that built depth a little bit better are really turning a page in the WNBA.
Yeah, I don't see it for New York this year. I really don't. Doug, great job. As always, check out all his work at covers.com. Hit the little icon there. Go to the WNBA page, and that is all Doug. Doug, thanks, man. We'll do it again soon.
Talk to you soon, guys.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're going to have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month. That is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're going to win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going like, it's championship or bust.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes what. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim. Only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe, who I don't think is a great football team, but still a ranked team, and then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule I may have ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Gabe, thanks to Doug Farber. Covers.com for all his WNBA plays. So back to the baseball board here. Stanky's getting blown out 12-2. That's a beautiful thing. They're playing bottom of the 8th inning. That's goofy betting if you want to put anything on that. Nothing out of the Jays. They had a runner on. They put runners on base now. That no-hitter is long gone. But top of the 9th they go. They trail 3-1. Against the Houston Astros. So that'll be a good win for the Astros if they hold on and win. Meanwhile, Texas took a 4-3 lead over Milwaukee. They were leading 1-0. Then it was 3-3 last I checked, and now they just scored bottom of the 5th inning, still batting. Runner on third base with one out. Minus 350 favorites because they got that runner on third base with one out. Wouldn't be comfortable doing that. And I see the Reds grabbed an early 1-0 lead over the Padres. I'm guessing that was a home run because they have nobody on base. King pitching for San Diego. Still minus 154 favorites on the Padres, which is interesting. Down 1-0.
San Francisco and Arizona getting ready to start, and Seattle and St. Louis game has started for the record. I just want to say, speaking of Doug, I love his WNBA passion. He's way into it. Big Minnesota Lynx fan, down with it. But you look at the history, and Phoenix have owned LA. They're 8-2. They played 10 times. They're 8-2 the last 10 times they played. You look at the games that they played this year, 92-84, 85-80, 89-86. You look at the Phoenix Mercury. Yeah, they win games, but they win a lot of close games, this team. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games. They're 4-5-1 against the spread. They're coming off a loss against the Connecticut Sun. The Washington Mystics aren't very good. They're a bad team. They won 75-69. The game you and I talked about, remember, Scott? Indiana were super beat up. They were on the road for a long time. They were in Phoenix. Phoenix were laying 7.5. They were up big. They ended up winning by 6. Right? Like, if you look at Phoenix, they don't really blow teams out. Look, they lost 87-84. They won 75-69. They won 85-79. All right, you got a blowout win against the Liberty, who suck. We were just talking about the Liberty, 80-63. Yeah. Chicago, 83-79. LA, 92-84. Golden State, 81-72. Like, this isn't a team that's like, they're a good team and they win games, but they're not blowing teams out on a nightly basis. And I think LA's in a good spot, Scott. Like, the LA Sparks were a lot better than they thought they were going to be this year. Like, they were terrible last year. You know what I mean? Like, they brought in Kelsey Plum. Cameron Brink was injured. The Sparks are going in the right direction. They're playing with house money coming into this game. They're not under any pressure. Like, I don't think they, you know what I mean? I did agree when he said, yeah, Kelsey Plum's going to bomb away because they're going to say, you know what, let's just bomb away, have fun, and let the chips fall where they may. But don't think for a second the Sparks are going to roll over tonight because they look at the standings. They're still mathematically alive.
Yeah. And it's down to 6. I'll tell you what, also, head-to-head, Phoenix does win, kind of what you were saying. They do win 8-2 their last 10 against LA, but 3-7 against the spread. So, and I'm guessing most of those have been obviously as favorites. And probably in the same range, 6, 7, 8 points, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. So they beat them, but they don't cover. And I just think life on the line, women, men, whoever it may be, when you know you need to win in order to make the playoffs, even though it doesn't look good, you're going to get an honest effort out of them. I don't think they're going to roll over. And so I would take the Sparks. If you want to give me the 6 points, I think they find a way. Maybe they don't win. Like you said, 0-3, but a combined 16 points, as you pointed out, all those 3 losses.
It's their, like, last stand. You know what? It's a good comparison. Yeah. It's like college basketball teams in the conference tournaments. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, listen, we were 16-16 this year, but we're 2 games away from winning the conference tournament and going to the dance. And, throw out the record. So basically it's the same thing. And, yeah, LA needs some stuff to happen tonight, but it's not insane that Golden State beat Seattle tonight.
Right. So, and
I'm taking both dogs, Golden State and the Sparks. West Coast special, Wetzel.
Yeah, there's your PP, the public parlay. They're going to be on the West Coast, and it's going to be a low-scoring game, Golden State, as all Golden State games are. So no matter what the score, LA's not going to see, I don't think, a 20-point Golden State loss and say, all right, our season, or win, rather, and say, okay, it's over. That should be a close game, meaning LA is going to try all the way through, which I think they would anyway. I don't think they're necessarily throwing scores out there. So, yeah, listen, that's why they call it gambling. Some guys like this, some guys like that, but we're both on LA tonight, and I think they get an honest effort. A couple little shekels, on the money line, but not the worst thing in the world, getting plus 225. But FanDuel's got it down to 6. That was 7.5 earlier today. So I think there are more people thinking like us.
I did agree with Doug's take, though, on the aces, Scott, in the first half. Right? Look, dude, the point spread's at 18 right now.
18, yeah.
18. I don't want to have to deal with worrying about winning the game by 18 points. And if you look at the halftime number right now, it's up to 10.5. But I could see the aces being up by 15.5, 13.5, 17.5 type of deal. I do think they'll blow them out. But as the game goes on, will they put the pedal to the metal? We've seen the aces take the pedal off the metal as the game goes on. The playoffs are around the corner. And I did agree with his Asia Wilson take, Scott. Right. You and I have seen a lot of Asia Wilson games and props where she doesn't get there because the aces are blowing teams out. And there's no need for her to score 30 points.
They're giving you 6.5 plus odds, plus 118 for first quarter for Asia Wilson. That's a lot. 7 points, a lot of points. That's 4 buckets or 3, 3 buckets. But if you think they're going to come out flying,
for the game, I'm saying I'm going to go under. I'm going to go under. Her last, but we should note actually. So I don't even like to see this, but her last 5 games, Scott, 36, 18, 34, 31, 31. So, no one's getting rich betting against Asia Wilson.
Yeah. Unders on Asia Wilson. The bookies' eyes light up. You want to go under? Okay. You know what? Sold. So, is this their last regular season game at home? I think it is. So, would that keep them, putting her out there and go for 30 or something
Scott, how about this? I'm going to play Cardoso over 13.5. You got no Angel Reese. She's on the floor. She becomes the player.
That's not bad.
She's good at the rebounds, the layups and stuff. She bangs in the paint. 13.5 doable for Cardoso.
Yeah. All right, we'll close up shop next.
Guess what, golfers? Vegas isn't just casinos and pool parties. In fact, there are 50 golf courses within a 15-mile radius of the Strip, all boasting beautiful desert oasis landscapes. So, if you're looking for a break from the action, consider hitting the links. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Donnie, the season is 6 months. 5 if you check out in September. You're gonna have a bad month. The Yankees had a horrible month, that is true. But beyond that, their regular season looks okay. They're gonna win their 90 games or maybe a little bit more and get to the postseason. What is everybody freaking out about?
Everybody freaks out. It's a Yankee tax and Yankee fan tax as well, where every single season you enter into the equation going it's championship or bust.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember these names: AZ Fudd, Olivia Miles, Lauren Betts. Depending on who wins that lottery, that's going to depend on who goes one. If Washington wins, it's Fudd. She's from the area. If Dallas wins, they're going to bring Fudd to play with, obviously, Paige. If Minnesota wins, I think they go Miles with the point. If Seattle wins, they go with Miles, and the same thing with Chicago.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
College football can't allow Notre Dame to have the type of, year they have and schedule they have, and honestly put them up against other teams. Because Notre Dame looks like they're going to be a decent football team. They could lose, I think, next week to Texas A&M, Joe, who I don't think is a great football team, but still a ranked team, and then run the table and still be in the playoff and absolutely beat nobody. The worst schedule they've ever seen in college football is Notre Dame this year.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
All right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the Grid. Final segment, kind of recap things and then maybe preview a little bit tomorrow. But one update there for the WNBA game as we were looking at in the break there. I was going to play a little Alyssa Thomas, maybe some assists. Figured they're going to get a ton of points, right? But they're not giving her any assists. They're not giving her anything with Alyssa Thomas. So I know she's been dealing with some injuries, although she played her last game. But I don't think she's playing tonight for Phoenix. So don't know if that's going to anyone's thinking or not. Maybe that's why
it just
the line
dipped
dropped
to 6.5. Yeah, I'm seeing mine. It was 7.5. Mine's dropping.
Yeah.
Right now. Yeah. Total's 173.5. I think we can get there too. We know how the Sparks play. You know, the Sparks are just going to run up and down the floor and be bombing threes here all night. But I don't want to force it. With the Alyssa Thomas situation here. So we got a total of 173.5. But Valkyrie's getting a 7 spot plus 240 on the money line. Like I said, Seattle clinches a playoff spot if they win the game tonight. I think they can win the game, but I don't think they win by 7. And I wouldn't be surprised if Golden State actually win the game tonight. So I'm taking the Golden State Valkyries, the LA Sparks plus the 6.5. It keeps on coming down right now. LA Dodgers minus 150 and Max Muncy to hit a home run plus 325. It's a little late night action.
There you go. Little baseball SGP we had with the Red Sox. We got the Red Sox winning. We got the Red Sox over team total runs, 4.5. We got Trevor Story getting a single, not just a base hit. It's got to be a single. Same thing with Alex Bregman. And then we're going to use Connolly early over 4.5 strikeout. Little juice minus 156, but that little SGP pays 6.5 to 1. So the door is open. Yankees are losing. Toronto is losing. They're playing bottom of the 9th inning. So Red Sox can gain on not only the Yanks and Toronto, but both of those two teams. So that they try and get the spot there. So little extra buzz for the Red Sox tonight, who are 7-1 their last 8 against the A's. We're both rooting on the Dodgers, right? Laying a run and a half, minus 150 or so. That's what I got it anyway on FanDuel. So let's get a little buzz there. It's up to 156 right now. Sheehan pitching for the Dodgers, and they're minus 325.
Sheehan's pretty good, though.
I get it, but yeah, I expect those numbers with Yamamoto or Ohtani or one of those guys. Not Sheehan,
But it's Colorado. And look, yesterday you talked about it when you said the Dodgers had a TBD listed and they were still minus 360 against Colorado. So pretty much, I think if you or I were pitching, there'd still be minus 300 against Colorado. They've just owned them. As I say to two guys, Marquez, who's pitching for the Rockies, his last 7 starts, he's given up at least 1 home run, 1 or 2, and some of them, 2 home runs, 3 home runs, etc. So you got to believe that someone's going deep for the Dodgers tonight, if not multiple, potential, a couple of multiple Dodgers. And I see the Blue Jay fans actually, Scott, have their rally hats on here right now in the stands. 3-1, 9th inning,
first
and second now. But there's one out. Runner on first and second with 1 out, bottom of the 9th inning right now.
Who's batting?
Who's coming up? Let me see exactly. They're not.
3-run homer?
Let's see who's coming up here for them. Blue Jays are topping out at least.
D. Schrader? Who's that?
Oh, is it David Schneider?
Oh, Schneider. And my eyes are going. That's what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I see it now. Here it is. It's David Schneider. Kind of a career minor leaguer who's cracked through in the late 20s. He's a gamer. Schneider's only hitting 240, but he's come up with some big hits. So you got David Schneider, and you know what? Jimenez is on deck. Jimenez has been pretty good for them, actually, this year. But actually, he got pinch hit for as well. So if they can, they're 2 batters away from getting away from to the top of the order here. Like, this is the 8 hole here. So they got the 8 hole, the 9 hole, and Springer's been smoking hot, Scott. So if they can get this around the Springer, they got a shot,
Yeah. We got to get one. Just one guy, one of these next 2 guys to get on. I'll take Springer with 2 out versus maybe not. If you want to give me that right now, I'll take that. And hope that comes through. So, all right, we got a shot. We got a shot at 3-1. Cardinals just took a 2-0 lead over the Mariners.
Oh, I warned everybody.
Top of the second. Yeah,
I laid the 10.5 in the first half with the Aces as well. Aces minus 10.5 first half.
All right. Texas 5-3 over the Brewers as they play top of the 6th.
Good.
Over under 11.5. That'll be my last one. I'll go over 11.5. Texas is weird. They're either really low scoring or really high scoring. So give me the over 11.5. Gabe, great job
3-0
as always.
count,
We'll be
Scott.
back tomorrow. Ooh, we got a
3-0
shot.
count.
Let's go, Jays.